Welcome back to my channel, everyone. If you're over 40 or even just heading in that direction, then this video is for you. Today we're breaking down the makeup essentials that everyone needs if you're over 40. I just want to add that you don't need 40 products to be able to create a good base or a flawless finish. As you get older, you actually need less products. You don't need as many. It's just about being very clever and very strategic with your application. But also, it is about getting the right products, and that's what we're talking about today. The essentials. This isn't about piling on the makeup, it's about choosing wisely. Because of the fact that our skin changes, that means that our products need to change too. It's not always about looking younger, it's about looking fresher, more radiant, and just generally more confident in your skin. So I'm gonna walk you through the key products that I believe everyone needs who's over 40. What they do, how they work, and what kind of difference they make to your skin. First up, you do want a skin perfecting primer. Not just any primer. This isn't just about using any old primer. Once you kind of hit 40, I feel like, and again, this isn't like overnight, immediately as soon as you hit 40. It could start a couple of years before, it might start a couple of years later. It really depends on you and your skin. But you kind of move away from needing a primer for oil control to kind of more hydration, smoothing, and adding a bit more of a glow because your skin does become a little bit drier as we age. So it's kind of like the goal shifts. And I feel like with anything, when you hit your 40s, like most of our goals change, let's be honest. Like it's not even just makeup and beauty, like generally in life, your goals tend to change. Like things that were never important become more important, things that were so important in your 20s are no longer really that important. So the same goes for your beauty regime. The same goes for the products that you use, and the same goes for the kind of look that you want and what you want from your makeup. You want to look for primers that have skincare benefits such as like hyaluronic acid and just skin loving ingredients, peptides, maybe some vitamin C if your skin can handle that. You want a primer that kind of helps to blur the fine lines and wrinkles and smooth the skin. You want something that's going to really help with texture, but you don't necessarily want a product which is a silicone based product or too silicone heavy. You want more of a radiant base now because you want your skin to look healthy. You want it to look glowing. One that I absolutely love, and I think it's great because it's great for kind of just being very clever with how many products you use, like not having to layer up so many products, is the Charlotte Tilbury UV, I can never remember the name of this, let me pull it out, Invisible UV Flawless Primer. This is great because it's SPF 50, so it is going to protect your skin, but it's also a primer in one, which is great. And the great thing is, usually, as you guys probably know, SPFs are quite kind of greasy. A lot of them tend to be greasy. This one isn't. This is a really good primer and SPF in one. It's kind of like a cream texture, so kind of flips open like that. And if I show you, it's kind of almost like this moisturizer. It's like a thick cream, and it just glides on your skin like so well. Smells great as well, just like kind of very subtle, nothing heavy. It just smells clean. And this is the finish it gives you. It's just a really nice kind of radiant finish without being greasy or heavy or overloading your skin. Another really good one is the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. That's amazing for kind of blurring your skin, blurring the fine lines in the pores, and kind of mattifying your skin, but not overly mattifying it. It doesn't dry out your skin. It just kind of helps with certain areas so that you're not overly shiny. Personally, I would honestly focus on using your primer along the center. You can use it all over if you want to. Obviously, I don't think you need it around the eye area. Be careful with overloading the eye area because that area is very thin. The skin there is the thinnest than anywhere on your body. So imagine as we age, skin becomes even more thinner. So it's not good to overload that area with a lot of product. Very quickly, if you do get anything from my videos, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button, you subscribe, and you also hit that bell button, which is going to remind you when I get a new video out so you don't miss anything. Because sometimes I hear you guys, or I read your guys' comments saying that, you know, I want a video on this, and I may have actually recently just done it. Quite a lot of the time I read comments and the video's already been done. So if you hit the bell button, it means you're not going to miss it and you're always going to have it. So it's just a really good way to make sure that your questions are answered, because I do answer your questions via video. It just takes time for them to come out. And yeah, I'd really appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really, really does help my channel out. The next product that is an essential is a lightweight glowy foundation. So very kind of like natural on the skin. You want want to ditch the heavy full coverage foundation because honestly, all that's going to do is actually enhance all the areas that you're trying not to enhance. You're trying to disguise those areas. And a heavy full coverage foundation is just going to show them off. It settles into fine lines because it's so thick and heavy. It's very easy for it to, one, sit in fine lines, so it just builds up in the fine lines. Two, it could end up just skipping the area completely because it's so thick, so that you kind of see the line even more, even though it's not in the line, in the groove, it's made it obvious. Instead, you want to go for something lightweight, very natural, more like a skin tint or a tinted moisturizer that's going to kind of allow your skin to breathe. You want to go for things, like I said, skin tints. So think about kind of like I said, either skin tints or tinted moisturizers, or even serum foundations. These are kind of more of a hybrid foundation, which is kind of skincare and foundation in one. I just want to add that doesn't mean that you replace your skincare with this. I would never do that. I would always stick with your skincare regardless. That's a non-negotiable. Your skincare always goes underneath. But then whatever you choose on top, if it is a skincare hybrid, like skincare makeup product hybrid, it's just better. That's all it is. It doesn't mean that you're replacing anything. You're just adding more skincare along with a bit of color in there. You want to go for like natural finish foundations. If you go for a foundation, something which is radiant for your skin. Some favorites of mine are the MAC Studio Radiance foundation. I absolutely love that, especially for mature skin and textured skin. It's a game changer. It just allows your skin to look the healthiest version that it can look, and very bouncy and juicy. The NARS Light Reflecting Foundation is a great option to really give you that radiance. It's lightweight, it's not too heavy. Also the Ilia, is it skin tint? I think it's super serum skin tint. That is great because it's good for your skin. It's ultra runny, so it is a little bit kind of more fluid, but it is very lightweight on the skin, and I do feel like that gives you a real skin-like finish. All of these give good coverage, but they don't look cakey on the skin. I would suggest, if you're going to use any of these products or the formulas that I've mentioned, apply it using a really good foundation brush, something such as the BK Beauty 106 brush, which you can get discount on by using my code Nina10, or even the Hourglass Ambient Foundation brush is a really good option too. Or use a beauty blender, a damp beauty blender. All of these three things are going to work really well as tools for your foundation application. I actually talk a lot about foundations, especially mature skin and just skin in the 40s, because that's where I am. I'm in my mid 40s. And I talk a lot about this stuff on my newsletter, the Beauty Breakfast Club. So head on over there, subscribe, because it's basically an online magazine. Like, imagine going to visit the Vogue magazine online, or Harper's Bazaar, or Grazia. That's basically what my site is. Obviously I'm not Vogue, I'm not Grazia or Harper's Bazaar, but you know, we're doing pretty well. We're a bit different because we focus on what people want to kind of like hear about their skin, especially if you are in your 40s or older. So I think you're going to enjoy it. There are a lot of tips and tricks and hacks over there, and there are two versions of subscription. One is free, which gives you access to some of the site, so you get the occasional newsletter free, probably once, twice a week. Or you can go for the paid version, which only costs you the equivalent of getting yourself one coffee a month. That's it. And you get access to the entire site. Plus you get to join the community where we have a chat room where all of us kind of talk about makeup, skincare hacks, makeup hacks, tips and tricks. People send their pictures in and everyone's like, it's growing and it's really, really nice. So I'd love to see you over there too. Getting back to this video, next up is cream concealer that doesn't crease. When it comes to kind of spot concealing or dark circles like under eye bags, concealing those, you want something which is lightweight and creamy but long lasting, that isn't going to dry out your under eyes. I know it sounds like we're asking for a lot, which we kind of are, but there are some concealers which work really well for this. You want something to work with your skin and not against it. You want something that's going to really hydrate the area, because obviously it's easy for that area to look quite dry and kind of cakey now that the skin is a little bit more drier going into your 40s and your lines and wrinkles are a little bit more obvious. It's harder to make it look more refreshed and younger and youthful. So you want something that's going to really give you a helping hand and work with you. You don't want to opt for concealers which state that they are long wearing and it doesn't add the word lightweight or hydrating, because if it just says long wearing, it's going to be very heavy and cakey for your eyes. You don't want something which is overly matte either, because that's also going to dry out and end up enhancing any flaws around your eye area. My personal favorites are, there's Adore Forever Skin correct concealer, which is really good coverage, but it doesn't dry out too quickly, but you need the smallest amount, or the Too Faced Born This Way multitasking, multi-use, I think it's called, multi-use concealer, not multitasking. And that's a really good option because I feel like that is actually a lightweight version of the Tarte Shape Tape. So it's not drying, it doesn't set so quickly, it doesn't dry out the area. It's actually very hydrating, but it gives you all the plus points of the Tarte Shape Tape, but it doesn't have all the negative points of the Tarte Shape Tape. And I would say with both of these concealers, if you go for any of these, you actually need less than you think you need. I would only apply it along the inner corner here and then just kind of use a damp beauty blender to blend it out. So at the most, a little dash here and a little dash there. You don't need to paint it all over at all. An alternative is you put it onto the back of your hand, you then get your sponge, you buff it into the sponge, and then you buff it into the under eye area. You're gonna get a softer, more soft focus finish that way. If you feel that you need more coverage, don't keep layering it up. Just apply it a little dash there and a little dash there. That's gonna give you the best coverage, but keeping it lightweight. If you're gonna set the area, I would highly recommend using a very lightweight powder. Something like the Laura Mercier Ultra Blur is gonna be really good for you because I feel like it's finely milled. It also blurs the area, which is great. And I wouldn't press it on with a powder puff if you are dealing with quite a lot of dryness or fine lines and wrinkles on the under eye. I would actually just use a brush such as the Real Technique setting brush and just dip into the powder and then press on your under eye, and that should be enough to get it kind of set. The next product you're gonna need is a cream blush. This is kind of something which is gonna add some color, but also add a bit of radiance and glow into your skin. I just feel like a cream blush is a non-negotiable when you go into your 40s. Powder blush can end up just sitting on top of skin. It does end up sitting on top of skin, and it just ends up making everything look a bit dry, and it just looks obvious that you've got it. You want products that melt into the skin. That ends up mimicking like a real flush in the skin rather than, oh, she's added a blush, she's added a powder blush. I feel like shades like a soft peach, a rose, or a soft kind of coral color are gonna be your best friend in terms of colors. Like, I just feel like those are the colors that I always stick to when I'm working on anyone who is a lot older. And I do feel like those colors are the kind of colors that I feel suit me better as well now. Like currently right now, I have the Rare Beauty liquid blush in Joy, high pigment, but very lightweight on the skin. And I've actually underpainted this whole look, which I believe is my previous video. So you might want to check that out, but that is really what I've done here. I've got the liquid, everything is liquid on my face. I don't have anything powder other than my setting powder. Another good option is the Dior Rosy Glow blush sticks because they're very kind of nice and glowy, melt into the skin, give you some color, but they're really a very kind of, I would say, blush and highlighter hybrid product. Like, it gives you as much glow as it does blush color. I would say when you are applying it, always focus on the upper part of your cheekbone like I have, and then go upwards into the hairline, because that's going to give you this really nice kind of like lifted, youthful look to your skin. The next product I feel like you're really going to need in your 40s is going to be a cream contour bronzer hybrid. So this is a product that you can use as a contour or a bronzer, or all at once as a cream bronzer contour. I think I said it the other way around, but we're gonna go with it. A bronzer contour, contour bronzer, you know what I'm talking about. I don't feel like you need a full contour routine when you're going into your 40s. I do feel like, again, everything is stripped back a little bit more and it's more about enhancing your best features. I just feel like with contour, especially if you use it to bronze and contour all at the same time, it can bring back a lot of these like, it's good for sculpting your face. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean like making everything look super like thin. I mean, you lose a lot of fullness in your skin, right? So you lose a lot of volume as you get older. So what I'm talking about is using it to bring back that kind of fullness, bring back everything that you've lost or you're losing. And the way to do that is not necessarily to focus on harsh lines. It's very soft. It's done in a very strategic way, and placement is key in order to add the fullness in your cheeks. So I would always recommend kind of like going a lot higher to just bring the illusion of your eye taking you, like when you're looking at someone, the eye kind of goes up, everything's going upwards. So it gives you the lifted look for youthfulness, but it also is adding a bit more of that volume back into the skin. And all of that kind of paired with a bit of highlighter in the right places, such as here, your blush, it's going to all help. Everything is going to help one another. All of these things work together really well. Another thing that you're going to need, I personally feel, is liquid eyeshadows or cream eyeshadows. I would probably stay away from the eyeshadow palettes. I don't feel like you're going to need them. I use eyeshadow palettes less and less as I'm getting a lot older. I use more liquid or cream eyeshadows. I would personally really recommend, I'm going to give you two options, right? One cream, one liquid. So for liquid, I would recommend the REM Beauty Starlet eyeshadows. They're liquid eyeshadows. They're so good, so easy to blend. Oh my god, anyone can blend this. They look so good, really nice colors. They do a really nice kind of like brown, like nude shades as well. Also the RMS Eyelights cream eyeshadows, it's kind of, yeah, it's more of a cream eyeshadow. They come in like these little tubes. So the REM Beauty one comes like that, and then this is the RMS one. I feel like both of these are great. And another option I would say is the, if you want more of a kind of shimmer to it, is the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize cream eyeshadows. Those are great, especially the bronze one. There's one called Betty, which is really good. So if you want more of a shimmer to it, I'd go for that. If you're looking for more matte and very subtle, then I'd go for the RMS or REM Beauty. Those are amazing, so easy to blend. Now the reason these are much better for aging skin is because, like I mentioned, the eye area gets very thin, the skin. So you want something that isn't going to look overly powdery and highlight all of the fine lines and wrinkles. You want something that's going to, again, melt into the skin. The rule of thumb here, as you are aging, is to stick to cream and liquid formulas. Stay away from powders. And also go for like more soft browns rather than black. You don't want anything too harsh. You want to soften everything as you get older. Now, another thing that I think is an essential is a cream or liquid highlighter. Now, there are a couple that I can recommend here, and the reason for these is because you want something that's going to, again, melt into the skin, because powder highlighters can really enhance texture in the skin. You want something that's going to give you that slight bounce back into the skin, a little bit of radiance, doesn't look overly shimmery or glittery. You want something that's very subtle but gives you that kind of, when you move, you can see something. See, like that? The Surat Artistique liquid highlighter in Chi-Chi, which is what I'm wearing, is stunning. So nice. It's such a nice highlighter. It's a sponge tip, so it really blends easily into the skin, or you can use your fingers. I also think the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless, no, it's not Airbrush, it's just Hollywood Flawless Filter. I always have to read them because there's just so many different names. But these are amazing for mixing in with your moisturizer or mixing in with your foundation. Stunning finish for an all over lip from within glow. Now, as we age, your brows tend to fade in the sense that the color becomes a little bit lighter. You're gonna get gray hairs. So I would say use a good brow product. You want something which is gonna bring the color back, but not necessarily look so heavy on the eye. You don't want your brows to look so dark. A couple of products that I recommend is the Surat Brow Pomade. I'm gonna add the exact name to the screen because I can't remember the exact name. This is deep brown and I really love it for covering my gray hairs. It's like this little brush comb style thing, and it just coats the hair so that it doesn't look so dark, but it does get rid of my grays, which is amazing. I genuinely do not dye my eyebrows because I just can't be bothered for that. It's bad enough having to do my roots. I just can't be dealing with the whole brow thing. Not yet anyway. So this is a really quick way to cover up the gray hairs. I would say stick with kind of brow pens rather than like really harsh products, because a brow pen can really give you that nice feathered look and isn't overly like heavy or too deep. Now, I would say the next one is a really good mascara, but it really is about picking the right one, because some mascaras really do not look good and they look overly clumpy, overly heavy. I would personally recommend the Hourglass Unlocked, literally the best mascara I've ever used. Another couple that I absolutely love, they're really kind of, there's a few that have entered the game, I feel like, that are really good. One is the Makeup by Mario Master Mascara, and that is good for an everyday mascara, not evening, more everyday natural looking. And then the other one that I absolutely love is the Prada Mascara. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it is so good. That mascara is really good for like separating your lashes, definitely not clumpy. And then the other one that I absolutely love is the Dior Over Curl Mascara. That's a really nice everyday mascara that opens up your eyes really well. None of these flake, none of these run. They're very good. Next is lips, and I would recommend the Dior Lip Maximizer. This is not so much for it to be a plumping product, but more of the hydrating side of it. I've used this product for years and years. Trust me, I've gone through so many of these. I'm currently halfway through my current bottle and I use the 001 shade, which is pretty clear. It's a very subtle pink that you can't even really see. Now, I've used this every day, once a day for years, and it is absolutely amazing. This is like almost my lip primer. So this gives me ultra hydration. I usually apply it and then do the rest of my face, and if there's still a bit of gloss there, I blot it and then I carry on with my lipstick. Applying this every morning actually is amazing for my lips because I never need to actually add lip balm throughout the day. I don't use lip balm during the day. I only use this once a day and that's it. I don't even take this with me because I trust it that much. Another thing that I'm loving is the new Dior Lip Glow Butters. So good for if you're in your 40s and you're looking for something that isn't ridiculously glossy, but is a balmy like texture but gives a little bit of shine, then this is really good. Plus they're really cute and they have so many different colors. Next up, I would say, is a good setting spray. I am going to recommend the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is not so much to set your makeup. I prefer this as a hydrator, so something to really hydrate your skin after you've set it with powder, because it just brings back that kind of lived in look. It doesn't look so powdery. Secondly, I like to kind of dampen my beauty blender with this and kind of use that to then buff in my foundation or whatever liquid product I'm using. It kind of helps your, like when you apply this over your powder, when you've set your face, I feel like this helps your powder to melt into the skin. So it just speeds up the kind of setting process. So that's my next one. Those are all of my essentials that I would recommend to you. It's not so much about doing less, it's really about working a bit smarter with your makeup, and all of these products allow you to work smarter with your makeup. Choosing the right formulas, the tones, the tools are all going to complement the way that your face is changing, and it's going to end up enhancing features rather than hiding features. Let me know which ones you use in the comments, or if there's any that you recommend. And yeah, I'd love to know what you guys love. And don't forget to comment, and links are in the description. And I'm going to see you on the next video.